One day, her voice was everywhere. The next day, it vanished without a trace. No warnings, no explanations, no goodbye. After nearly 2 decades on Daystar Television Network, Joyce Meyer suddenly disappeared in early 2025. No farewell. No announcement. No emotional goodbye to the audience that had followed her faithfully for years. Just silence. And behind that silence lies a story far deeper than a simple programming change. This time it was not about money. It was about truth, trauma, and the same darkness Joyce Meyer had spent her entire life fighting against. To understand why this moment shook her so deeply, you have to go all the way back to the beginning. Long before the global empire, long before the best-selling books, long before the studios and satellite broadcasts, Joyce Meyer was born as Pauline Joyce Hutchison on June 4, 1943, in South Street, Louis, Missouri, during the height of World War II. On the very day she was born, her father, a machinist, was drafted into the United States Army. He vanished for 3 years. When he returned in 1946, he was no longer the same man. War had hardened him. He drank heavily, spoke little, and carried an anger that filled every corner of their home. By the time Joyce was about 5 years old, that anger turned into control, then into violence. Soon after, it became something far worse. What followed would scar her for life. From childhood into her teenage years, she endured repeated sexual abuse at the hands of her own father. By the time she turned 18, she later revealed that it had happened more than 200 times. Fear ruled her world. Silence ruled her home, and the most painful truth of all was that her mother knew and said nothing. That silence became one of the deepest wounds Joyce would ever carry. Her father used fear and threats to control her. He used shame to break her spirit. He even used pornography to confuse and manipulate her. At school, Joyce felt different, damaged, isolated. By the age of 12, she believed she was worthless. She stopped bringing friends home. At just 9 years old, sitting quietly in a classroom in South Street, Joyce opened a Bible on her own. No one told her to. No one forced her. She was simply searching for comfort. As she read, she felt something she had never felt in her own home: peace. She became a born-again Christian, hoping faith would rescue her. But when she returned home, nothing changed. The abuse continued. The silence deepened. Yet her faith quietly held her together when everything else tried to tear her apart. At 18. In 1961, Joyce finally fled her childhood home. She had little money, no protection, and no clear path forward. She took a job as a secretary at a local insurance office. Freedom did not immediately bring healing. Hoping for stability after years of chaos, Joyce entered a second marriage believing it might finally bring peace. Instead, more emotional storms followed her. By the age of 22, she had given birth to her daughter Lavra, was living in a small apartment and working full-time as a bank teller just to survive. The pressure of responsibility weighed on her daily. Depression and anxiety became constant companions, following her through long shifts and lonely nights. Counseling offered brief relief, but it never touched the deepest wounds left by her childhood. Some days the emotional weight felt unbearable. Yet even in exhaustion and fear, a quiet spiritual hunger continued to rise inside her. Then in 1976, everything changed. One early morning while driving to work, tired and overwhelmed, Joyce began to pray. Suddenly she heard her name spoken clearly 3 times. She later said the presence that filled her car in that moment was so powerful it shook her to the core. That instant became her spiritual awakening. From that day forward, her faith was no longer passive. It became urgent, active, and alive with purpose. She began gathering co-workers during lunch breaks to study the Bible, speaking openly about pain, fear, and everyday struggles. Soon she launched Tuesday evening Bible studies that quickly grew, from a handful of people to dozens. Before long, a second group formed on Thursday afternoons, and these meetings continued for years. People came because she was real. She did not claim perfection. She taught what she was still learning. By the early 1980s, Joyce and her husband Dave Meyer joined Life Christian Center in Fenton, Missouri. She started a women's Bible study in her home, expecting just a few women. Instead, 115 showed up the very first night. Within months, the group grew to over 500 each week. Her sincerity caught the attention of Pastor Rick Shelton, who invited her to speak on Sundays. In 1983, she launched her radio program Life in the Word in St. Louis. By 1985, demand exploded, and Joyce founded Life in the Word Ministries as an independent nonprofit, working from home with Dave to answer letters, duplicate cassettes, and pray over countless lives being changed. In 1986, everything changed again with the release of Battlefield of the Mind. The radio series exploded in popularity. More than 10,000 tapes sold in a single year. People wrote to say they could finally sleep at night, that their anxious thoughts no longer controlled them. The series later became the best-selling book that would define her legacy, eventually selling more than 30 million copies worldwide and remaining on Christian bestseller lists for nearly a decade. By the early 1990s, criticism followed her rise. Some religious leaders accused her of preaching prosperity. Newspapers questioned her methods, but her audience kept growing. In 1993, at age 50, Joyce stepped onto television with her show Enjoying Everyday Life on WGN-TV in Bay. Within 2 years, the show reached over 1 million viewers each month. By 1997, it was airing in more than 20 countries through satellite broadcasting. Her ministry soon moved into a $20 million headquarters in Fenton, Missouri, complete with production studios capable of producing hundreds of episodes each year. Donations soared past $100 million annually. She partnered with International Justice Mission to rescue more than 1,000 victims of human trafficking. Between 2015 and 2020, her ministry quietly funded 100 adoptions for abuse survivors, providing legal fees, counseling, and support for families. These efforts were rarely promoted publicly. With massive growth came massive scrutiny. In 2003, reports revealed that Joyce earned nearly $900,000 a year while Dave earned $450,000. Ministry donations helped fund a $2 million home, several additional homes for their children, luxury furnishings, and even a $23,000 marble toilet. Public backlash was fierce. In 2007, U.S. Senator Chuck Grassley launched a federal investigation into Joyce Meyer and 5 other televangelists. Her ministry fully cooperated. No illegal activity was found, but sweeping financial reforms were forced. Salaries were reduced. Oversight boards were established. Annual financial reports became public. Then, nearly 20 years later, another crisis erupted. In 2024, investigative journalist Julie Roys revealed that Joni Lamb, president of Daystar Television Network, allegedly ignored sexual abuse involving her own granddaughter between 2020 and 2021. For Joyce Meyer, this was deeply personal. She had preached on Daystar for nearly 2 decades. Because of her own history, she could not remain connected to a network facing such accusations. In January 2025, she pulled her program without hesitation. Behind the scenes, the network publicly unraveled. Jonathan Lamb, son of Joni Lamb, accused his mother of financial misconduct, including charging a $100,000 honeymoon to ministry funds, hiding payroll records, and paying herself over $1 million annually. Lawsuits followed, and Daystar became engulfed in scandal. Joyce Meyer quietly walked away. After leaving Daystar, she moved her broadcast to TBN, Lifetime, and YouTube. Though she lost some longtime viewers, her digital reach surged. On November 14, 2025, her devotional Discipline Brings Reward was downloaded over 400,000 times in 1 week, delivering a powerful message of integrity and endurance. Today, Joyce Meyer stands as a woman who has endured childhood sexual abuse, toxic marriages, public humiliation, federal investigations, and one of the largest broadcasting scandals in Christian television. Yet she continues to preach, she continues to teach, she continues to reach millions worldwide. Her life is more than a testimony of faith. It is a story of survival, resilience, and relentless courage. The little girl who once lived in silence became a global voice for healing. And the woman who once had no protection now stands as a defender of truth. Her departure from Daystar Television Network was not an ending. It was a declaration. Because after surviving silence for the first half of her life, Joyce Meyer will never stand beside it again. If this story moved you, opened your eyes, or challenged what you thought you knew, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe for more powerful true stories. The truth matters, and these stories deserve to be heard. Thanks for watching.